Good morning, everybody. We're going to do 3 things again. And I want to know if you can. Today's Wednesday. It's raining outside. And I want you to try to remember the song about rain. And it goes, it's raining, it's pouring. The old man is snoring. He went to bed with a bump on his head and he couldn't get up in the morning. Do you remember that song? Last episode, we sang a song about an old man playing knick-knack. This time, the old man got a bump on his head. So that's our thing to remember today, that song. And also, there's other things to remember. Like, remember we talked about a seed, and we talked about the hope of something growing out of it, and we talked about Jesus is our hope, and we read a book that had a bee in it, remember? All right, so today, let me see, our homework is I want you to take care of that seed. And if, oh no, you forgot to plant a seed, I want you to plant a seed this week, especially on a rainy day. I have seeds inside that I planted, and I have seeds outside that I planted. So if it's raining and you want to plant in the rain, you have to ask your family. You can plant seeds in the rain. You can. But you can also, if you don't want to get all wet and muddy, you can plant a seed inside. Okay, and I'm going to show you a new kind of seed, a tomato seed. And it's so tiny. And then I'm going to show you I'm going to show you 2 seeds, and then I'm going to show you 2 tiny tomato plants. Let me see if you can see this on the spoon. Look how tiny those seeds are. Oh my goodness. A whole tomato plant. And tomatoes can grow, like there's a field of tomatoes in that tiny seed. Okay, ready for the plant now? I planted this a couple weeks ago. And it came up. I planted 2 seeds close together. And let me see. There's the tomatoes. There's 2 of them there. Can you see that? 2, and then let me see if you can see the roots. There's the roots. So see, it has some dirt attached to it. And that is going, if I can get that back in the ground, that will make a really bushy plant that'll have pretty blooms on it that the bees will like to eat the pollen off of. And then it'll grow a plant, and then from those blooms, it'll make more tomatoes. And inside those tomatoes are seeds. So if you have a tomato in your refrigerator, then you can plant some tomato seeds. So, all right, so we're going to read a book about tomatoes. And I also want you to see, this is our Bible newsletter. Do you remember the Bible newsletters that you used to get every week and you take it home? Well, this one is about the story. I want you to come by and get your newsletter at the school. And if you need seeds too, when you pick this up, let me know, because I'll put some seeds there for you to plant if you need seeds. Okay, now this is after, on the road to Easter, after Jesus died. They didn't know that he had risen up yet. And then the men were walking, and they brought the stranger home. And as soon as they took communion with him, they broke bread and had wine. They discovered, their eyes were open, and it was Jesus. And he was risen up, and then he disappeared. But here they are, walking sad along the road. And then they went home, had bread with him, figured out, it's Jesus. He is risen. And they ran, and they were so excited and told everybody. So come and get that newsletter, and you can read the story on the back. So that's actually your homework. That and planting some seeds if you didn't last week. Okay, let me turn it so you can see it. Okay, now we're going to read a book about tomatoes. And if you need tomato seeds, I have tomato seeds. I have some ground cherries that I'd be happy to share. I ordered a little too many. Okay. This is called tomatoes. Tomatoes grow from seeds. You see? Can you see? Get the glare off there. Can you see that tiny seed? Oh my goodness, we've eaten those seeds, in our tomatoes. Tomato seeds are planted in large fields. See, they're planting them. Whoa, that's a long field. Whoa, tomato plants need a lot of water to grow. Look at that. Wow, that is a huge farmland. And tomatoes grow on vines, and the tomatoes turn red when they're ready to be harvested. Did you know there's other colors of tomatoes? Yellow ones are really delicious too. Farmers pick the tomatoes when it's warm outside. Can you see that? See how big that bush is, that tree? That tomato bush? A big machine helps the farmers put the tomatoes into a truck, and a truck will take the tomatoes from the field to a warehouse. In the warehouse, people pack the tomatoes into boxes, and then the boxes of tomatoes are sent to the stores. Yummy. People buy tomatoes at the store. And tomatoes are used to make many different foods. Ooh, there's pizza, spaghetti sauce. Alrighty. So tomatoes are bought at the store, but can you grow them here in Oregon in your garden? Yes, you can. And remember, you got to be really careful when you plant that tiny, tiny, tiny. Oh, it's so tiny. And then even the plant is so tiny. All right, so have some fun planting, and I'll talk to you next week. Have a great week.